In the cold void of space, the Zalthar Empire had conquered hundreds of worlds. Their ships, enormous and elegant in their design, were sent out with an air of finality. They arrived on planets, tested their inhabitants, and subdued those who were a threat or those whose resources were deemed valuable. The Zalthar had seen it all, and had encountered species of every type. The ferocious Strath, the mind-bending Vorchax, and the technology-obsessed Drextha. Yet, in all their many encounters, the Zalthar had never found a species as perplexing, as utterly harmless and unpredictable, as humanity. The first encounter with Earth was supposed to be a simple observation. It was, after all, a primitive, backward world with no significant defenses and no advanced technology. The Zalthar had seen hundreds of such planets. They were the easy conquests, those which offered little resistance or challenge. But Earth had thrown them a curveball from the moment they had arrived. The Zalthar had sent a fleet of 3 warships, cloaked in the shadows of space, to observe the humans for a full year. They were cautious, as they always were with new species. Their sensors probed the planet's surface, searching for any sign of advanced military technology or signs of hostile intent. What they found, however, was not what they expected. Humans were different. At first, the Zalthar had noted that humans were largely peaceful. Their weaponry was crude, primarily primitive projectile-based weapons and early chemical explosives. There were a few signs of atomic power, but nothing on a scale that would challenge the Zalthar's might. The species seemed, in many ways, fragile, emotionally volatile, deeply territorial, and yet completely uninterested in any form of galactic conquest. They were harmless, or so it seemed. But then came the question, why? Why did a species so frail, so fragmented, and so seemingly powerless continue to thrive? The Zalthar began to observe humanity in greater detail, focusing not just on their technology but on their psychology. And what they found confounded them. Humans, unlike any species they'd encountered, seemed to thrive on conflict. They warred with each other, yet each war, every battle, every skirmish seemed to build them up, strengthen their resolve, and unite them in ways that no other species could comprehend. And at the heart of this chaos, they were driven by an instinctive need to protect those they loved. The Zalthar had not anticipated this. Every species they'd encountered in the past had been ruled by an inherent desire for self-preservation or dominance. But the humans, they seemed paradoxical. They didn't seek to conquer, yet they would fight tooth and nail for survival when provoked. And when left alone, they posed no threat. A council was convened aboard the Zalthar warship Valthesh, an immense floating citadel, where the brightest minds in the Empire gathered to discuss the conundrum of Earth. Are we certain these humans are unprovoked? The voice of Commander Vlonrix cut through the quiet hum of the meeting room. Yes, Vlonrix, said Tver, the chief strategist, her voice calm but laced with uncertainty. The scans have been clear. They have no intention of initiating hostilities. We've monitored their communications. Their leaders preach peace, and their military actions are limited to conflicts with themselves. So they are harmless then? Vlonrix pressed, her antennae twitching slightly. But why does their violent history make them so dangerous? Can we be certain they won't grow into a threat in the future? Their wars are chaotic, yes, Tver acknowledged. But their technology remains primitive compared to ours. Their most dangerous weapons are still crude nuclear devices. They do not possess anything that could match the destructive power of our fleets. But their resilience, Vlonrix murmured, their spirit. It's as if their true strength lies not in their weapons, but in their capacity to survive and adapt. We have not encountered a species like them before. As the debate raged on, a sudden flash of light interrupted the gathering. A message, urgent and encrypted, arrived from Earth. The Zalthar Military Council fell silent as the message was decrypted and projected into the chamber. The image of a human commander, stern-faced and scarred from years of battle, appeared on the holographic screen. I don't know what you are, the human said, his voice steady but firm. But I've been around long enough to know that you're not here to talk. You're here to take, and you're wrong if you think we'll let you. You'll have to kill every last one of us, but we won't go quietly. The transmission ended abruptly, and the council was left in stunned silence. The implications of what they just heard echoed in the cold chamber. Commander, Tver said, this This human has no knowledge of us, no understanding of what we are capable of. Yet, he believes we are invaders. And worse, he thinks he can stop us. Vlonrux stared at the flickering image. There was something about the human's words that gnawed at her. He was unafraid, confident even in the face of overwhelming odds. "Prepare the fleet," Vlonrux ordered, her voice colder than usual. "We'll show them just how harmless they are." On Earth, the human resistance movement had already been activated. What the Zalthar had not realized was that humanity had faced threats from the stars before. They had been watching the skies, gathering information, preparing for a day when the stars would come to them, and not with peace, but with destruction. It began with a whisper. Then a signal was intercepted. The humans, despite their apparent fragility, had made their own discoveries, strange artifacts buried beneath the ocean, unusual signals from distant points in space. They had been preparing for the unknown long before the Zalthar arrived. The resistance had been building for years, quietly, out of sight of the world's governments. A coalition of military leaders, scientists, and civilians who had become privy to the hidden truth of their world. What they knew, what the Zalthar could not understand, was that humans did not fear death. They feared the unknown, the alien, the unseen. And in the cold of space, the humans had long ago discovered that they were not alone. They had learned how to fight back. They were not the helpless creatures the Zalthar assumed them to be. And now, with their backs against the wall, they would show their true strength. But the Zalthar did not know this yet. As the massive Zalthar fleet entered Earth's orbit, their sensors detected a shift in the planet's electromagnetic field. It was subtle at first, but soon it became clear that something had changed. The humans had prepared. Suddenly, the first strike hit. A massive pulse of energy shot from the surface, ripping through the vastness of space and striking the Zalthar warship Valthesh directly. It wasn't the work of any human weapon, but something much older, something buried beneath the surface of Earth. An ancient technology, perhaps, or an alien artifact that the humans had recovered. But it was unlike anything the Zalthar had encountered before. The fleet reeled, disoriented and confused. There was no warning, no time to retaliate. The first salvo of humanity's true strength had just been unleashed. And it was only the beginning. The Valthesh shuddered under the unexpected energy blast. The massive warship's shields flared, but the pulse cut through them like a knife through paper. For a moment, the Zalthar fleet was stunned, disoriented by the sudden, inexplicable attack. The gravity on their ships fluctuated as systems went into emergency mode, and a shrill alarm echoed through the chambers of the command deck. What was that?" Commander Vlonrux demanded, her voice sharp with disbelief. Tavur, the chief strategist, quickly tapped on her console, trying to make sense of the anomaly. "It's not one of their known weapons. It's something we've never seen before. Its origin is impossible to trace. It came from Earth's surface. We were wrong about them." Vlonrux's mind raced. The humans were supposed to be fragile, predictable, easily overrun. They had no means of space travel, no advanced weaponry capable of matching the Zalthar Empire's technological might. And yet, Earth had just shown them something else. Something unexpected. Something that could change the very course of their mission. "We are not the first invaders they faced," Vlonrux realized aloud, her antennae stiff with growing concern. "The transmission we intercepted, it wasn't a simple message of defiance. It was a warning." Tavur nodded, her face pale. "The humans have been preparing for this, and they are not as unprepared as we believed." The truth hit harder than the pulse itself. Humans, in their chaos, had become something more. They had learned to survive, to adapt, and to fight. They had faced other alien threats before, and somehow, they had survived. And now, in the face of the Zalthar Empire, they had not only survived, they were fighting back. A massive flash of energy pulsed again from the planet's surface, this time hitting the Valthesh's engines. The ship lurched violently, throwing crew members against their consoles. Vlonrux's hands gripped the command chair as she fought to maintain control of the bridge. "We're losing power," the communications officer shouted. "We need to retreat, now." But Vlonrux didn't respond immediately. Instead, her mind raced. The humans weren't just defending themselves, they were actively fighting back, using advanced technology that they had somehow hidden from the Empire. It was as if the HFY had been waiting for this moment, waiting for their invaders to arrive. And now they had struck. On Earth, humanity's resistance moved into overdrive. The underground networks, the secretive groups who had long anticipated this day, now activated the full extent of their capabilities. The artifact discovered in the oceans, a relic of some ancient civilization, had been their key. It was a piece of technology, alien in origin, but undeniably human in its capacity to harness power. Dr. Elena Carter, a top scientist and one of the masterminds behind the human defense, stood in front of a massive holographic map of the world's strategic zones. Her eyes glowed with the intensity of purpose as she watched the Zalthar ships falter. They had underestimated humanity's resourcefulness, and now it was time to make them pay. "Initiate Phase 2, she ordered. On her command, several more energy pulses shot into space, each one striking the Zalthar ships in rapid succession. But this time, the humans had improved upon their initial weapon. They had reversed-engineered parts of the alien technology they'd uncovered, using it to amplify their energy blasts. The Zalthar fleet, despite its formidable size and advanced technology, had no answer. On the bridge of the Valthesh, Commander Vlonrix's face contorted with rage. She slammed her fist down on the console. "Damn them," she growled. "They dare to resist us." But Tver spoke up, her voice grave. "Commander, they're not just resisting us. They're learning. Whatever technology they've uncovered, it's rapidly evolving. The longer we stay here, the more danger we're in." The realization sank in like a cold stone. The Zalthar Empire had never encountered a species that could adapt so quickly. What they had once considered harmless was now evolving into something dangerous. The Zalthar had failed to account for the humans' resilience, their unyielding spirit. The more the Zalthar attacked, the more the humans fought back, refining their technology and strategies with every strike. "We have underestimated them," Vlonrix admitted, her voice thick with reluctant respect. "Perhaps it's time to consider a different approach." Tver nodded, her fingers flying over her console as she prepared the new tactical retreat. "We will not conquer Earth. Not like this." The Zalthar fleet began to withdraw, but the damage had been done. Earth had proven itself not only resilient but capable of defending itself from the most powerful military force in the galaxy. And in the heart of the human resistance, Elena Carter watched as the last of the Zalthar warships retreated into the void of space. A breath of relief swept through her, but there was no time to celebrate. They had won this battle, but the war was far from over. The Zalthar had only retreated for now. They would return, and when they did, humanity would be ready. "We've only just begun," Elena whispered, her eyes focused on the stars beyond. And as the sun rose over Earth, bathing the world in a new light, the surviving members of the Zalthar Empire made a sobering realization of their own. There would be no easy conquest of Earth. The humans, in their perceived fragility, had proven to be anything but harmless. The universe had underestimated them once. It would never do so again.